Me going live. Alrighty. Hello, everyone watching right now on our different, well, several. Me going live. Alrighty. Hello, everyone watching right now on our different, well, several. Me going live. Alrighty. Hello, everyone watching right now. Just making sure that there was audio feedback going through. And let's see if that fixes it. Hi, everyone watching. We're super excited to have our Women Speaker Series continuing this month. Just a little quick introduction. My name is Renee. I am the Community Outreach Manager, Coordinator, I'm sorry. I am the Community Outreach Coordinator here at 42 Silicon Valley. For those who don't know what 42 Silicon Valley is, we're a tuition-free college focused on computer programming. And we're focused on computer programming, and we are completely free. Um, right now, we understand that the situation of COVID is changing our lives drastically, but this time around, we want to bring in a little bit more connection to the students, and we want to continue bringing the support to everyone out here. Um, and this is why we're having our women speaker presentation. This month, we actually will be having Dulce Villareal. She is a blockchain developer, and just like this, let me do a little quick introduction video of her. So now you guys will see her on screen. So this is Dulce. So I've known Dulce a little bit for a while. She's also part of the Techeria group that I'm taking part of. I don't know if Dulce, you would like to talk a little bit about the Techeria group, but it's an amazing opportunity for those that are interested or are in the tech field as a Latino or Latinx personnel.
Yeah, totally. I'm going to talk a little about communities. When we talk about how to get a job in the blockchain space, I think communities are a great opportunity to meet people. In Tech Area, we are more than 10,000 Latinos. And now more than ever with COVID, we are totally digital in Slack. And our, our goal is to have more Latinos in leadership position. Then I'm very happy to be here. Thank you, Rene and 42 for the invitation.
Yeah, absolutely. So, without further ado, this is her presentation.
Okay, let's start. Uh, Thank you. Hola, my name is Dulce Villareal or Dulce Villareal. I am a blockchain developer. I work as a developer advocate in RSK. The RSK is an open source smart contract platform, but also I am a product manager. Next slide, please. Mm, a little about me. I studied economics. I was for many years a data scientist in banking, also product manager in startups, and nowadays a blockchain developer. Actually, I ended up being a blockchain developer because I got asked several times to get the job as a blockchain developer. And the reason is because there is not so many blockchain developers. In the non-professional part, I am a foodie. I love foodie and cook. I used to have a mezcal brand. I also love roller skate. I normally roller skate in San Francisco on Thursday or Tuesday. There is a group. Um, I love Bitcoin technology, and I was very proud to say that I work remote, but nowadays everybody works remote or working from home. Uh, yeah, next slide, please. Uh, Today we are going to talk about blockchain because this is the field where I've been in the last 5 years. When we talk about blockchain, everything is so futurist. Like you can see the marketing is black, blue, the universe, the stars. But the real thing is like blockchain is the same as other fields like VR, data science, machine learning, the cloud. And let's understand this from a new perspective. Next. Uh, I'm going to talk about innovation and venture capital and why it's good to understand that. because in order to have a new field, we need innovation, and innovation needs money. And what is happening is the venture capital. We live in Silicon Valley, we live in California. We know more than the rest of the people how important is venture capital. And what venture capital wants is they want high returns. Basically, is that. Next, please. Uh, I like to say like blockchain is like in an embryonic stage, but my friends say that it's more like in an infancy. I like to put this picture of these babies because blockchain is still a baby. And I'm going to talk about technological revolution and financial capital, because it's important to understand where we are as an industry. Normally, Carlota Perez is an economist from Oxford. She said there is a technological revolutions and there is financial cycles in this revolution. And this financial cycles has 4 stages. The first one is the eruption phase. And there is an intense funding of innovation in these new technologies. There is the frenzy, the synergy, and the maturity phase. So far, we are not in the maturity phase. We are, in my personal opinion, in the last part of eruption phase. What that means is venture capitals in San Francisco and around the world, they are putting a lot, or they are investing a lot of money in startups, or they already invest the last 10 years in startups and blockchain protocols to be part of this revolution. Next one, please. And what are the VCs in crypto to understand who are the big players? We have existing Z. I can't pronounce the whole thing. And actually it's fun because everybody starts saying A16Z, and now it's a legal name. Pantera Capital, Weak Levels Capital, DCG, Concilium. Concilium isn't actually in Asia, but now everything is global. We also can pitch to capitals all around the world. Coinbase Venture, Coinbase Venture is from the arm of Coinbase, the biggest exchange in the world. Consensus Venture, that is part of the Ethereum family, and we have also Dragonfly and Tron. Tron is not per se a venture capital, but the funny thing, or the funny fact, is they can buy almost any startup in the industry because they raise so much money, or they have so much money that they can do it, and they already bought important companies in the space. Next one, please. And we need to create a bridge to understand what is happening right now. The ventures capitals send a lot of money to this new industry, but there is no people with these skills. And what is happening is there is demand, but there is no supply for these skills. And actually, nowadays, blockchain is the top one skill needed in the market. Like right now, there is no blockchain developers, for example. And the problem is like when managers or when we hire people, when we are in the hiring process, we found out that the people know the basics, but they don't know really the technical stuff. And what happened with blockchain is that is very technical. It's important to understand economics, game theory, math, cryptography, a lot of things together, right? Nowadays, if you are looking for a job, I think it's important to say that these are the skills that the market need, but there is not people with these skills or with this expertise. And the other important thing to say is because blockchain is in its infancy. Nowadays, you can be in the top of the developers by just working very hard in your coding skills. Next, please. And how we connect the venture capitals with the jobs. I want to give you some tips. One of the things that can help you is see what are doing the VC capitals, and also go, for example, to Andreessen Horowitz's A16 webpage and look for jobs. For example, you can see they show the Coinbase job, and you can see what they are looking for. You can see, for example, if you're a front-end engineer, what are the skills of the libraries that they are looking for. And also one important thing, like we are in San Francisco, but with this lockdown, maybe we can go to meetups right now, but there is another ways to make community and to make network. The first is, like I say, Techeria. There is community for underrepresented people like Latinos, people of color, but also there is a lot of meetups. Uh, a lot of meetups that are online, and you can talk with any of the people. And the second advice will be, like in Twitter, start following the CEOs, the C levels of each company, of the companies who are you're interesting. And normally they post sometimes even the job description. So they say we are hiring. I think this is really, really important to look how is the market. And personally, I didn't know this tip when I arrived to San Francisco 2 years ago. And somebody explained me, if you look in the portfolio of the VC capitals, you are going to find a lot of jobs. And next, please. Let's start, like, maybe you are maybe you are asking where I start. And I think the simple, easy way is start with Solidity and smart contracts. All blockchain platform has a need a smart contracts platform. Is the way that we put money, crypto money, in a program, and we send money, and we make uh, computers to do whatever we decide to do. The most common platforms have Solidity as a language. For example, you can see Ethereum, EOS, Neo, Tesos, and you can go to every single protocol and check also for the jobs. And the other interesting thing is, like, most of these protocols raise hundreds of millions of dollars. Then what happens is they have a lot of money, but they don't have users. The other thing that is possible is go to the startup path and learn how to use this platform and create dApps or decentralized dApps on top of Dfinity, on top of Rootstock, on top of Ethereum, EOS, Tron. All these platforms looking for dApps developers, or for developers who develop new ideas. Where I work is RSK, that is Rootstock. Like, for example, I can see it from the industry. What this platform needs is developers creating apps, basically. Mm, I'm not gonna go for the technical aspects because I want to give you a big picture. But I'm happy to talk with 42 if you need, like, uh, a deep curriculum about the smart contracts, or how to code the smart contracts, because this is like my job nowadays. I am a developer advocate, and I teach how to code the smart contracts. We have been doing uh, classes in universities in Singapore, in Mexico, in Argentina, in different parts of the world, in Gibraltar, and I would be more than happy to talk about specificalities in each topic. Next, please. Uh, the next question is where I learned. Um, I think the most important thing is to start learning cryptography and Solidity. Solidity, there is so many ways to find Solidity. There is the documentation that nowadays is pretty clear. The other thing that is really important is to under cryptography. I highly recommend this class. It's a Stanford class. It's totally free for Dan Boney. It's really, really good. For example, my job nowadays is to create documentations, tutorial, create articles, and for example, we have in our website how to start. This is like my job nowadays. And last but not least, YouTube. YouTube is an amazing source of knowledge. Like, literally, you can find everything there. And one of my favorite tips is, like, just speed up the videos. Sometimes two times speed, and you are gonna learn faster. And I think it also sometimes is very funny. Okay, next one, please. Other way to learn is with projects and with hackathons. With projects, one way is just do a tutorial. Just this is the first one. The simple one is just recreate a tutorial. The next one will be go to an open source project. Most of the blockchain projects are open source because it's part of the philosophy of Bitcoin, like to be borderless, open, transparent, and I believe like all these values, Bitcoin values, we transport to the rest of the protocols. And then one way is go to, for example, you can go to RSK GitHub, Ethereum GitHub, Celo GitHub, any of the platforms that you like, and just start seeing the issues, try to fix, check typos. Sometimes it's interesting because the industry is so distributed that we have people from all over the world, and sometimes there is no English native speakers, and it's important to have English native speakers, so we sometimes need translators. And sometimes you don't have to start right away with the code. Sometimes you have to do the simple way as reporting typos or reporting that something is not working. I think it's one of the beautiful things about open source platform, that you can just join a project and start giving and start learning so fast. And the final one will be like hackathons. I would recommend specifically Gitcoin hackathons. Are very high level, but the good things about hackathon is like normally we go to a hackathon and there is like free workshops. In pre-COVID life, when other tip that I have to share with you is you can go to a conference, you go to the workshops, you learn for free. Normally this type of classes are very expensive, very, but in conference or in hackathons are free. Then just go enroll to the hackathon, enroll to conference, and take these workshops, and then you can start reading the documentation. And the other thing that you do in hackathons and in conferences, meet people. Meet people is as important, like as brushing up in your coding skills, or to mastering your coding skills. And what I say that because there is a lot of people without jobs right now. There is a lot of people looking for jobs. Then we have to be in the top, and one way to be in the top is also to know new things. And sometimes to learn new things, we have to be involved in the blockchain network. Next one, please. And this is kind of different. You can see in this presentation the senator, we run ads. I couldn't add a meme, but the idea is why I start in blockchain is there is many reasons. I start in blockchain or in Bitcoin because in Mexico there is a lot of corruption, and I believe Bitcoin and blockchain allowed us to see the database in a very transparent way. Like blockchain is a new technology that gives you tools to solve new problems, such as privacy, such as centralization. Because what happens when we have centralization is also we have a single point of failure, right? If we have everything in a central server storage, we have a single point of failure. And for example, in Cambridge Analytica, we have, if I recall, it was 87 million user data leaks. It's a lot of millions, and Cambridge Analytica, they ran more than 200 elections. So they were working in 200 politic process in different parts of the world. Imagine they were controlling this election all around the globe. And the other interesting thing is the data breach. Every day we became more digital, more and more digital. And with COVID, the truth is everything is digital. Like I see my family through a Zoom call or a Hangout because I can hug them. And what happened for real, what is happening is going to be more data breach. and there is going to be more record exposed. You can see for the graph that is in the bottom left that the data breach are just like growing up crazy. And one of the things that give us decentralization is tools to keep our data protect. This is like the magic of cryptography tools, but also the magic of decentralization. Next, please.
We might have lost you there for a second, Dulce. We're experiencing some technical difficulties. Please bear with us for a couple of seconds. Sorry
Okay.
about that, folks. We're back online.
I don't know what was the last thing that you listened, but I was saying like there is many ways to start in the blockchain industry. It could be not only a smart contract developer, but other things like front end, back end, API developer, even designers. There is not a lot of designers. Then inside the blockchain, there is different kind of boxes, I would say. And next, please. One of the most important, I believe, functions or services of blockchain will be decentralized and distributed storage. Like I said, this centralization of the data create a single point of failure, and now we have different solutions. I just put the the most important ones. Like we have Swarm from Ethereum, we have a Storj.io, Filecoin, that is part of IPFS, or they work together, Saya and Reef. Reef is part of the IUB. I work in RSK, but the umbrella organization is IUB. And for example, what is very, very common in blockchain is like a company sponsor a developer for working in an open source project. Like that means, for example, Blockstream pay a Bitcoin developer to work in Bitcoin. For example, RSK pay developers to work in Swarm, IPFS. I don't know exactly which ones, but it's very common. It's a very common practice that companies or organizations collaborate together and to help each other, because it's to help each other as an ecosystem. Next one, please. Other very important one is communication or messages. Like nowadays, it's easy to hack a WhatsApp. It's easy to hack Facebook. I was talking with a friend, and he was telling me like one of his professor was teaching them how to hack WhatsApp. And I think what we need is more security. We need more private conversations, and it's super interesting. Like messaging is super interesting. There is a lot of new technologies, and this is mostly cybersecurity and cryptographic, but it's all together. And the next one is video live streaming. And for example, nowadays we watch Netflix, but there is another um, startups like Streamer, Live Peer, and there is so many that you can catch up with the company's work using decentralized service for video and live streaming. Even if you have any idea, I am happy to listen or to read you and to give you some tips where you can start, what you can use. Next one, please. Now I want you to give you the opportunity to start like more like a conversation or like a talk. Like any question that you want to make me, you feel free. Ask me anything. Could be as technical or just like in any personal question related with work or my story. I'm happy to answer because some interesting thing, like it's a fact that there is no developers or there is a need for people with blockchain skills. Like the market pushed me to work as a developer, and I'm not saying one company. What happened to me is I am a product manager. I know how to code. I was jumping to help. I was jumping to Stack Overflow to help my developers. I ended up coding without needed or wanted, or without wanted, but because I needed. And then I didn't have one offer. I have like several offers to apply as a developer. And in the last moment, what happened with me is I tried to find a company who was aligned with my mission in my life, who is doing something that I really, really like, and that allowed me to grow up as a person. And I think there is sometimes when it's a new technology, we think, oh, there is where I can start. But I already passed through this 2 years ago when I arrived to San Francisco. I did the same in Chicago 4 years ago, and I'm gonna be happy to give you some advice or mentoring if you need it. So far, thank you so much. And also, if you want a very, very technical class about smart contracts or anything, I'm happy to prepare for you and for the students of 42. Thank you so much.
Alrighty, perfect. So give me one brief second while I adjust the questions here because they got a little bit off-centered while I was adjusting the screen. Let me pull up a question right now for you. One that I'm seeing right here is, do I need to know about the financial cryptocurrencies if I want to get into the blockchain technologies?
Uh, no, it's not needed, but it's going to be very, very useful. And I'm going to say why. When you start working in crypto, uh, it's it's when you start coding and you start learning JavaScript or C, or let's see JavaScript. Automatically, if you start learning JavaScript, you are gonna start learning about uh, clients and HTTP and how it works. It's like kind of the basics, but it's not really really hard. Uh, and the other thing that is really important to know, you need to understand the financial part will be like how to send money, how to use cryptocurrencies. We need to know that in order to avoid scams. It's like I remember, like I'm gonna put an example. Crypto and blockchain, it's in its infancy because it's so easy to make a scam. Do you remember this guy, 17 years old guy who created a scam in Twitter? For me, it was obvious that it was a scam, but for most of the people, wasn't. And I think to understand a little more about how the industry works, you need to be exposed of that. And the best way is, for example, if you want to invest in something, ask a friend who work in the industry. And one of the phrases that you are going to listen a lot is don't trust, verify. I think this is the most important thing. Don't trust, verify, um, because scams, there are more scams than real companies. I would say that. Did I answer your question, or you have a very or you have another more particular question about finance?
Oh, let's see if they follow up with that.
Okay.
Hopefully you'll hear back from that person hopefully soon. Alrighty, let's see the next question that I have loading up for you. Here, let me share that with you so you're able to see
Mhm.
that presentation with me. One brief second. Present. Let's go.
And in
There
the
we go.
meantime, I'm gonna say that while I arrived to San Francisco, I didn't have a network. I didn't know nobody. Then believe me, I know how hard it can be to get a job.
Yes, I can imagine right now, especially right now the situation with
Yeah.
so many people unemployed. Alrighty, I shared with you the screen. Hopefully you can see these questions, but I could pull up the next question, which is, what's the most used programming language in blockchain industry in your opinion?
Okay. Yeah. For specifically for smart contracts, Solidity. What happened is, in I don't remember the date, but the year, but Vitalik create Ethereum, and what happened, it was really well done in that moment, and everybody start just follow the steps of Ethereum, and everybody fork Ethereum. Like for example, RSK, it's a smart contract platform on top of Bitcoin, but actually the virtual machine of RSK, it's 99% compatible with Ethereum, or with the virtual machine of Ethereum, and all the protocols did the same. And basically, if you know C, it's going to be easier for you because you are going to understand better. I know a friend of mine was in 42 on 42 2 years ago, and he told me you learn C, right, Rene?
That's correct.
Yeah, and once you learn C, Solidity is going to be easier for you because it's very similar to JavaScript, and it's going to be easier. The other thing is nowadays, I believe all the companies realize that most of the developers know JavaScript, and there is a lot of similarities with tutorials and things to do with JavaScript. The other is for smart contract platform would be Solidity. For non-permissional or DLT, distributed layers, the other programming language is Java. Like for example, R3 is in Java. I believe it's a good programming language. It's actually allowed you to do more things than Solidity. And the last one, I think I will stick with this. Once you learn C, it's going to be easier to jump to Solidity. Actually, like one of my friends studied there in 42, and he was hired by IBM, and he's doing great. And it was easier for him to learn Solidity than from that for other people.
I'm pretty sure I know who that person is.
Yeah. Hello to him if he is watching. We are going to keep his name private.
Perfect. Yes,
um,
will do.
mm, what is the salary of a blockchain developer? This is a really good question. And as a product manager and I'm going to answer, it depends. Why it depends? It depends if it's remote. It depends if it's of the seniority, and it depends of if it's remote of the seniority, and also if it's a full-time job, or if it's a freelancer situation. I think that depends. For example, nowadays in San Francisco, the average was like 150 for a full-time job. This is like the average, but nowadays with COVID, most of the companies who was hiring in San Francisco are open to hire everywhere. And one of the most interesting thing about blockchain is most of the companies are working remote since many years. And also, I want to share with you I have a data about how many jobs there is since this year. I think it was more than or less than 6,000 jobs, full-time jobs in blockchain space that couldn't fill as fast as the companies wanted. I have the numbers here, but I don't find them. I'm gonna give you. I'm gonna give you the numbers later, I guess. The other questions: do I need a blockchain certification? This is a tricky question because, yeah, of course, certification always help, but in blockchain, the only thing that it matters is in the industry what it matters as a developer is your GitHub, and if you are able to answer the technical questions of if a company gives you an assessment, you have to do it. Because some people have the certification, but nobody cares. I'm gonna give you an example. Like a lot of the most prominent blockchain developers, they are so young that they didn't finish a degree. They of course the industry doesn't care about certifications, but if you're a developer, I think your GitHub is a good card of presentation. Yeah. I'm gonna give you the information about the lack of people with expertise in blockchain. Like last year, it was difficult to hire the 6,000 full-time jobs in blockchain space. Like it's kind of similar to the cloud. Like it's a new technology, but there is no people with these skills. Next question is, what are the disadvantages to using blockchain in your opinion? Oh, there is a lot. There is a lot of disadvantage. An internal joke is like internal joke in the industry is like blockchain is not magic dolls that you sparkled and everything is going to be open, decentralized, and transparent. There is a lot of disadvantage because it's very, very hard to. The architecture is very, very hard. And what that means with the architecture, like something like a central create a dApp, create a decentralized app is most complex, or is that create an app with a server or using MongoDB or Firebase. Like it's more complicated. This is one. The second is usability. Usability in blockchain just really sucks. You can see the address, like your wallet address, is like a 32 long letters, super hard to read. This is your address. Like how I'm gonna memorize or how am I gonna learn by heart my address or my wallet address? This is one of the disadvantage. Is like the persons who create the blockchain and all the protocols never thought about usability. I would say that. The other disadvantage is like if you make a mistake, there is no way to come back. Like if you send your money to a wrong address and you lost your money, and that is going to happen in a personal level or in a company level, then one of the advantage of blockchain, of course, is like the immutability, but this advantage is going to be a disadvantage too. What are my favorite applications of blockchain so far? I think it's sending money. I think this is the first right now, the first application, because if you think nowadays, if we want to send money to India or to Mexico, it costs like $14 plus a rate of the exchange rate plus a percentage of the total money that you sent. Then in the end, it's a lot of money. And in contrast, if I want to send money to somebody in other country, it takes seconds sometimes. Like, for example, it depends if you use Ethereum, Bitcoin, RSK, or whatever you are using. But there is no know your customer, and you send the money. You don't need for example, if you are an immigrant without no papers, without no ID, you don't need to open a bank account. And that for financial inclusion, I really, really love. For example, I'm working in a company that their primary mission is financial inclusion and financial equality. And that for me it's really really important because you can see how, imagine a person who is a homeless person in San Francisco who lost all their all their ideas. They can get a wallet in blockchain. I think this is my favorite application. Mm. Oh, what is your opinion on the view of the recent hacking of Twitter account? um, yeah. Uh, First of all, it was interesting to see to see who was the hacker. It was a, a 37 years old kid, and it's a very complex topic because I was reading that they were looking for the failure in Twitter, and the normal point of failure, we are humans. It's not like they hack Twitter. They hack an account of one person. This is one thing. What I would like to see in the future is when people ask for money, people say no. I think what is needed is more blockchain education or more cryptocurrency education, because when people know about the scam, they are going to recognize the scams very very fast. It's sad that a lot of people lost their money, and that happened to a friend, for example, and this is a real story. He was using a DeFi protocol, a decentralized protocol, to put money, earn interest, and then take his money. What happened is he read an article in Medium saying how he can take his money faster, and he lost like I don't know, like $3,000. Yeah, 3,000 dollars by a hacker. Then I believe that what we need is more education in blockchain, because the scammers or hackers, I like to say scammers, because we are hackers. We are hacking problems. We are white hackers. Mm, I believe that scammers are gonna look for more complicated ways to rob our money or to steal our money. Um, yeah, this is a very interesting topic, the Twitter hacking. That it hurt more Twitter than it hurt Bitcoin. Now everybody knows about Bitcoin. Yeah, very very interesting.
Wow. No, that's very very amazing to hear. I guess this looks like it's the last question that we have on Slido. Yeah, yeah. So far, it's look like that's the last question. But that's a very very delicate topic to talk about, especially right now
Yeah,
in this era of like ethical hacking and a lot of the industry of it's moving to that whole decentralized the whole decentralization movement is definitely making a bigger impact on people that are not doing the ethical thing. And it's very difficult to pinpoint who is who and how they want to do things, but it is very unique, and it's very amazing just to see how much technology is actually moving along. And but at the same time, it's the right education that people need to get to make sure that the correct things happen, not get scammers throughout the whole uh
yeah. Blockchain or Bitcoin is not bad per se. It's just a tool, the same as internet or a hammer. And if you need, finally, just to like to finish, like if you need to find me or to ask me something about how to look for a job, or if you want me to make an intro, that I forgot to say, like a good way also is to have friends in recruitment or recruiters. I have a friend who is a recruiter who works with specific people in East Bay, or I guess Fremont too. It's too close. That she's helping like women who want to get a job in crypto. I can make an intro. I am happy to support you in your research to become a blockchain expert.
Perfect. Well, it looks like the questions are complete. I had an amazing time seeing your presentation, and all of the people that were actually following online as well. We're very grateful to have
Thank
you
you.
at
That's
our
good.
Women Speaker Series, and hopefully everyone online enjoyed it as much as I did, because I got to learn a lot about blockchain just by seeing this presentation. Besides that, if you have a closing statement, if if you have any Twitter handles where we could follow you, and
Yeah. My Twitter is Dulce, Dulce. Beard. I'm gonna just write it down in Twitter. Sorry, in YouTube in the comments, and I'm gonna let my LinkedIn too. You can find me as uh, Dolce Villareal in Twitter. In LinkedIn, I believe is as a blockchain developer. I believe you can find me pretty easily. The last statement will be blockchain is a super interesting new technology. Uh, if you want to move to a very disruptive industry, don't hesitate to move. I believe it's a good moment to start. It's never late. It's never late to start in a disruptive technology or cutting edge technology as blockchain. And happy to help.
well,
Thank you so much, Rene.
thank you so much for joining us. Once again, thank you all for joining online. Once again, during this time, it is very difficult to see each other face to face. Difficult times we live in, but stay safe out there. All be happy. Hopefully, we will rewatch this presentation again and again and learn a little bit more. But once again, thank you. Thank you, Dulce, once again for participating in us, and we'll see you on the next one.
See you. Bye bye.